Hey everyone! So today, we're going to build a toolbox, not for fixing things around the house, but for something way more important, our own mental resilience. Resilience isn't some treat you're just born with. It's a skill. It's something you can build, one tool at a time. And that's exactly what we're going to start doing right now. It's a question we've all probably wondered about. When things get really tough, why is it that some people seem to find a way through, while others just get lost in the darkness? What makes the difference? That question is really at the heart of everything we're talking about today. To really get a handle on the solution, we first have to put a name to the problem. And the psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl, well, he gave it a really powerful name, the existential vacuum. It's that deep feeling of emptiness, that nagging sense that your life doesn't really have a purpose. This is the void that our tools are designed to fill. Now, there is no magic wand for this stuff. The answer is way more like having a well-stocked toolbox. And these are practical, powerful tools, developed over centuries by philosophy and fine-tuned by modern psychology that seriously anyone can learn to use. So here's our game plan. We're going to unpack 4 key tools: the power of action, the power of thought, the power of purpose, and the power of self-kindness. And then we'll see how you can put them all together to build your own personal toolbox. All right, first up, tool number 1, the power of action. I like to call this the outside-in approach. We're not going to start with our thoughts or our feelings. Nope, we're going to start with what we do. So this tool comes right from a type of therapy called behavioral activation, or just BA. Research from places like Cambridge University Press shows it's based on a really simple idea. When we feel down, we stop doing things we enjoy. And of course, that just makes us feel worse. BA is all about breaking that vicious cycle. So the key takeaway is this. Instead of waiting around to feel motivated to do something, you just do something rewarding first. The action itself is what creates the positive feeling. It's an incredibly direct approach. If you want to change how you feel on the inside, you start by changing what you do on the outside. Okay, on to tool number 2, the power of thought. Now, if action was our outside-in approach, think of this as the inside-out approach. This time, it's not about our actions, it's about the lens we see the world through, our own thoughts and judgments. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus absolutely nailed this almost 2,000 years ago. He basically said that our suffering doesn't come from what happens to us, but from the story we tell ourselves about what happens to us. And the Stoics gave us this brilliant way to put that into practice, the dichotomy of control. It's simple, really. You just draw a line. On one side, you put everything you can actually control, your thoughts, your choices, your actions. On the other side, you put everything else, other people, the weather, the past. The whole goal is to pour your energy into the stuff you can control and learn to accept the rest. And this isn't just some dusty, ancient philosophy. This exact idea is the foundation of one of the most effective modern therapies out there, cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. It just goes to show you that this tool for managing our thoughts is just as powerful today as it was in ancient Rome. Our third tool, well, this one goes even deeper. It's not just about what we do or what we think, but why we're doing it in the first place. This is the power of purpose. The expert on this tool is Viktor Frankl, who we talked about earlier. He founded a whole school of therapy called logotherapy, and its core idea is that what really drives us as humans isn't the search for pleasure or for power, but what he called the will to meaning. Frankl's ideas weren't cooked up in some comfortable office. They were forged in the absolute horror of Nazi concentration camps. He saw firsthand that the prisoners who survived were often not the strongest physically, but the ones who held on to a reason to live, a why that helped them endure anyhow. So how do we find this meaning? Well, Frankl gave us a map with 3 clear paths. First, you can find it in creating something or doing a good deed. Second, you can find it by experiencing something beautiful or connecting deeply with someone. And third, and this one is so important, you can find meaning in the attitude you choose to take when you're facing suffering you just can't change. And his work is definitely not just some historical footnote. Reviews from places like the International Journal of Social Impact show that his ideas about purpose are still totally central to how we understand trauma and resilience today. And that brings us to our last tool, number 4, the power of self-kindness. You can think of this one less as a specific tool and more like the foundation. It's the attitude you bring to every other tool in the box. It's all about how you treat yourself during the struggle. The researcher Kristen Neff has a perfect definition for self-compassion.
It's really just about turning the kindness you would automatically give to a good friend back towards yourself. It's not about self-pity or letting yourself off the hook. It's about having a supportive inner voice. So what does this actually look like? Well, it breaks down into 3 parts. Instead of beating yourself up with self-judgment, you practice self-kindness. Instead of feeling totally alone in your struggles, you remember our common humanity, that being imperfect is just part of being human. And instead of getting completely swallowed up by your pain, you practice mindfulness, where you can observe it without letting it take over. And look, this isn't just some nice, fluffy idea. It's backed by a mountain of evidence. We're talking over 4,000 studies that have linked self-compassion directly to things like greater resilience and lower levels of anxiety. It works.
Okay, so we've got our 4 tools: action, thought, purpose, and self-kindness. Now comes the most important part: actually building your own personal toolbox. See, the real magic here isn't about picking just one favorite tool. It's about seeing how they all work together. Let's say, for example, you lose your job. Your thoughts might start spiraling. That's when you grab the tool of thought to focus on what you can control. You might not feel like doing anything. That's when you need the tool of action to just push yourself to update your resume or even just go for a walk. All the while, self-kindness stops you from beating yourself up, and purpose helps you see this as maybe a chance to find work that's more meaningful. See how they work together? So, let's wrap this all up. You've got action, change what you do to change how you feel. You've got thought, focus only on what you can control. You've got purpose, find your why. And you've got self-kindness, treat yourself like a friend. This right here, this is your toolkit for getting through the tough times and even flourishing. So I'll leave you with this question. Just take a second and look at these 4 tools: action, thought, purpose, and self-kindness. Which one does your personal toolbox need most right now?